More than 2,500 federal agents converged on a hospital-linked drug network, and the first bang wasn't a door. It was a wall opening to a firefight. Inside, catwalk ambushes, forklifts pushed into firing lanes, and a K9 dragging traffickers from a refrigerated truck as 9 hostages are pulled out alive. You're about to see how the tactical blueprint unfolded, and why the real target wasn't just the warehouse. It was the system behind it. 23 shell corporations, encrypted orders, and $37.9 million in disguised medical donations that kept inspectors, port access, and civic cover in line. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. One wall comes apart at 5:03 a.m. and the plan puts the fight under steel walkways, not office corridors, because the target ran a factory floor, not a clinic. Catwalks meant height, crossfire, and angles that swallow sound. Hallways are linear. Catwalks let a few rifles dominate open space. The entry brief assumed defenders would shoot down through grates, use elevation to stall the rescue, and force agents to clear in 3 dimensions. FBI hostage rescue team took assault lead with 2 elements, red and gold, while DEA's Special Response Unit held the charges and the breacher kit. ICE-HSI teams stacked vehicles along both exits for transport interdiction. Local police built the outer ring with marked cars, unmarked SUVs, and marine units sitting dark at the pier mouth. The mission stayed simple on paper. 9 hostages in the manifest, all alive. That meant faster than a barricade call, slower than a smash and grab, with medical standing by and air on orbit for quick lift if bodies came out critical. The building fought back before a shot. Elevated catwalks ran the length of the warehouse with grated floors and gaps that bleed light, but hide movement. Forklifts sat crosswise as rolling barricades with keys pulled and forks raised to shoulder height. Blue drums lined the lanes. Solvents, acids, and precursors. Perfect cover that turns one flashbang into a fire hazard. Above narrow skylights let a lookout see heat signatures and team lights while staying outside most sightlines. DEA put a linear charge on the east wall to avoid the loading doors where a fatal funnel would stack bodies. They cut anchor points, taped a water-impregnated strip to tame sprawl, and blew inward to drive dust and insulation away from the entry lane. Flashbangs held for beats because of the drum labels and the heat index inside, forcing HRT to clear cold. The first stack split left and right to break fields of fire and deny a single line of bullets through the breach. Shields rode low against catwalk angles. Lasers stayed off to keep signatures down. The second stack pushed forklifts off lines with tow straps and a battery jump. On the south apron, 3 refrigerated trailers told a different clock. Condensation beaded on doors in the pre-dawn chill. Diesel units idled steady, not cycling, which means live cargo or heat-sensitive product. Cartels bury people in cold chain loads to hide them among legal milk runs. Paper looks clean, noise blends in. If those trucks roll, the hostages vanish into ferry traffic with a medical manifest on the clipboard and a driver following route beacons. Overwatch worked the skylights, glass glare, and the great pattern made silhouettes useless, so the sniper read muzzle flash timing and gas blow to place the shooter. A single round into the support post punched the rifleman off balance and cleared the lane for the push team. That shot freed a medic pinned behind a forklift tire and opened a gap to the first 2 bound hostages. At the trailer doors, a K9 went first. In tight spaces with multiple bodies, a dog sought scent faster than a human clears angles. It locks onto a moving suspect, forces a stumble during a reload, and holds an arm or leg so agents can close with less lethal tools instead of a fatal round. That buy of 2 seconds can be the difference between a barricade and an arrest. The perimeter bent. 3 box trucks hit different exits, and spike strips did little against run-flat tires. Agents boxed them in, nose to bumper and bumper to curb, while an ICE unit peeled off to seal the ferry road before the first toll camera. Engines revved, mirrors snapped, and the cordon tightened without ramming unless a door came open. Inside, the fight stayed close and dirty. Shots snapped under catwalks. Barricades moved as forklifts lurched in neutral. Chemical drums narrowed lanes and kept bangs holstered. Hostages shifted rooms as radios called routes. Even with that, all 9 came out breathing. Teams marked cleared sectors, deconflicted arcs, and locked the interior down with minimal friendly crossfire risk. The gear, the speed, and the numbers took the building fast, but out past the cordon, paperwork had moved more weight than every truck on that lot. If the gunfight ended the operation, why did the money trail explain how it started? Because the cash didn't follow the bullets. It preceded them, laid the lanes, and kept doors opening on time. The raid pulled bodies from trucks. The ledgers explained why the trucks were always waved through. Investigators walked past the recovery tents and into a hospital basement that looks less like storage and more like staging. Dr. Lawrence Whitlock, the hospital director, keeps a locked cache behind false panels and a sterile room with lights, drains, and single-use kits lined up as if an OR ran off off the books at night. On his office server, forensic teams pull a directory of paperwork that points to 23 corporations with medical names. Each holds a slice of a grant, a consulting fee, or a procurement payment tied to hospital research umbrellas. None shows payroll. None shows inventory. All tie back to Whitlock's approval tree. Public-facing philanthropy says new scanners, pediatric outreach, and wellness vans. The encrypted inboxes tell a different cadence. Messages read like movement orders. Move the patients tonight. Border team ready. Times match truck movements and ferry windows. Subject lines use clinical terms. Attachments use procurement formats. The content lays out routes, staging lots, and intake times masked as deliveries. Follow the money and the map appears. Incorporation in Nevada for ease. Holdings in Belize and Panama for opacity. Each entity receives transfers marked as research or equipment deposits, then pushes funds through processors that pay for port access, terminal storage, and contractor retainers that look like normal service agreements. No office lease, no shipping records, just a pattern of small wires that aggregate into operating muscle where checkpoints meet clipboards. A ledger snapshot folds the whole night into a grid. 9 individuals listed by initials, heights, and medical flags next to transport windows and trailer IDs. Adjacent columns list bulk moves. A 1-ton heroin load paired with 1.5 tons of meth and fentanyl salts, slated to ride the same ferry lanes before sunrise. The plan blends people into cold chain cargo with clean bills of lading and medical manifests that mirror routine hospital supply runs. Legal loads cloak illegal movement. Timing avoids random inspections by hitting shift changes and weather delays. The network only works if friction disappears. Donation records and encrypted threads show the same 20 names surfacing as approvers, facilitators, or thank you recipients. On paper, they greenlight grants, expedite permits, or acknowledge community support. In practice, they function as nodes that grease inspections, cut wait times at terminals, and make audit pulls go quiet. No single act looks corrupt. The combined effect is a corridor without stops. Across 5 years, $37.9 million moves in increments that match normal hospital giving cycles, quarter-end gifts, gala season bumps, yearly renewals. The cadence mirrors civic donation rhythms, so automated screens flag nothing. The totals matter because they buy persistence, not one big bribe, but 1,000 routine entries that never trip a fuse. When the warrants land, the impact ripples through institutions that thought they were clean. The hospital board freezes discretionary accounts, terminal managers pull access lists and camera logs, agency inspectors open internal probes on their own emails. 31 indictments follow, spanning trafficking, organ harvesting schemes, and public corruption. Departments suspend staff, vendors lose badges, marine units recheck ferry manifests that passed on the night shift. This is why the operation required bodies from across 10 agencies under a single command. The target wasn't a lone warehouse, it was a cross-border enterprise welded to healthcare logistics, financial pipes, and public authority. Intelligence units mapped the nodes, cyber teams cracked boxes and ciphers, forfeiture specialists froze accounts before they vanished overseas, hostage rescue pulled the living, border interdiction sealed exits that paperwork had kept open for years. The breach took minutes. Rebuilding trust after a hospital became cover for a cartel will take years.